Hello there, Keith King here from the website ancientsymbolist.com. Today's topic is the Zodiac and its association with the Mason's mystic tie. This is the shortest video I have ever made, being just 15 minutes in length. But it is packed with everything you need to know about the Zodiac. Before I start, I need to tell you what Freemasonry is. Freemasonry is a school of knowledge which allows every Mason to become a teacher. In my 27 years of being a Mason, I have never met anyone who wants to rule the world. The Masons I have met have only wanted to put more into this world than they have taken out. But first and foremost, they are seekers of knowledge. And being in a lodge means they are not alone in this quest. I have been the education officer for my lodge for the last 15 years, and it has been my pleasure to bring in guest speakers to enlighten the minds of the members. Please don't waste your time in just watching a couple of minutes of this video, as all the good stuff is placed at the end of the video. Feel free to freeze it at any time and to check things out. What is the mystic tie and how does it involve the Zodiac? We talk about the mystic tie in our last toast of the evening, after sharing bread and salt with each other. This is the toast. Dear brethren of the mystic tie, the night is waning fast. Our work is done, our feast is over, and then the evening closes. We can trace the mystic tie to this temple in Luxor, Egypt. It is both vertical and horizontal. It appears as an endless figure eight. It is also displayed upon the Celtic cross, of which there are thousands positioned, usually on energy lines throughout England and Europe. There are clay tablets which depict ancient Sumerian lords holding the mystic tie, or as it's known by its other name, the caduceus. The mystic tie is also incorporated within the mosaic pavement of many Masonic lodges, usually around the rim of the tessellated floor. Here is its association with the Zodiac. This image, which is displayed upon the wall opposite the Grand Master's Palace in Valletta, Malta, it is placed like all pieces of knowledge just behind a fountain. This particular fountain is also placed in front of the main church in Valletta. It is known as St. John the Baptist, who is the patron saint of Freemasonry. It is called an analema. It shows the sun's movement over the course of 1 year. It draws the figure eight, or the sign of infinity. On this occasion, the signs of the Zodiac have been placed in their proper positions around the figure eight. These Zodiac signs show the original method of telling the time of the seasons. They existed long before the Julian calendar of March, April and May, etc. came into existence. Each of the Zodiac signs is placed alongside their Julian calendar month. The Scarmania Masonic Lodge displays its own mystic tie, and on it is also placed the latitude and longitude, and the directions east and west. They have placed the months of the year around the figure eight. There is also an analema on the wall of Oxford University. It is known as the Green Templeton Sundial. There is a nodus suspended just above the analema, with a hole in its centre, which allows the sun at midday to mark a position on the figure 8. Like the mystic tie in Malta, 2 stars show the position of the equinoxes, which occur in March and September. The green Templeton sundial can be seen when entering the college via the lodge. There is more than one Masonic lodge that meets at Oxford University, of which the Apollo Lodge is one. To tell the time, there is a Zodiac clock in the centre of Prague in Czechoslovakia. This clock was built with the funds of the King of Bohemia in 1410. Around 100 years later, King Henry VIII had his own Zodiac clock installed in Hampton Court. In order to maintain this knowledge of the cosmos, the builders, whom we shall call Masons, incorporated the Zodiac and the mystic tie on the outside and inside of all of the structures they built, such as St. Paul's Cathedral in London, where the analemma has a tripod with a circular disc to capture the sun's rays at a certain time of the day. The sun's rays would then identify the day of the year. St. Paul's was built by the Freemason Sir Christopher Wren. On the front of St. Paul's there are statues of the 4 fixed signs of the Zodiac: the lion for Leo, the ox for Taurus, the man for Aquarius, and the eagle for Scorpio. These 4 zodiac signs are placed on the Grand Lodge of England's emblem. They are 90 degrees apart and form the 4th part of a circle. They can be found attached to the 4 Gospel writers everywhere, such as on the front of this church, where the lion represents St. Mark, the ox represents St. Luke, and the man represents St. Matthew, and the eagle represents St. John. Jesus is placed inside the Vesica Pisces. Going inside the church, we find the 4 Gospel writers with their appropriate zodiac signs. This time the sun and the moon are added, and where Jesus is also placed inside the Vesica Pisces. In this church, the 4 Gospel writers, with their attached books, are displayed above their correct zodiac sign. The whole 12 zodiac signs are displayed in the main window of Cologne Cathedral, starting with the scales for Libra and ending with Taurus the bull. These 12 zodiac signs are incorporated in the breastplate of the high priest, and each sign is associated to a tribe of Israel, starting with the lion for the tribe of Judah, and the temple builders David and Solomon. There is a key to understanding the analemma or mystic tie. On the outside of York Cathedral in England is this main window. It sits inside a triangle. There are 24 outer mosaic windows representing the hours in a day, and 12 inner mosaic windows representing the daytime hours and the nighttime hours. Stone pillars separate the 2 sets. It is difficult to work out the message this window is portraying. That is, until you go inside and observe the window with the light shining inwards. Then the figure 8 or double spiral comes into the picture. There are 12 pointers representing the 12 zodiac signs, all wrapped around the sun. Someone wants you to go to this cathedral and observe the message and discover its significance. These builders placed 12 double spirals, and they are to be seen everywhere, such as on the front of this building. And now to understand how it works. There is a line around the Earth at its centre called the equator. There are also two lines drawn. One is 23.5 degrees above the equator, and it is called the Tropic of Cancer, and one 23.5 degrees below the equator, called the Tropic of Capricorn. This is how these two lines look. They represent the letter H. The equator line represents the letter I. The Sun, as it moves from the equator line on the spring equinox to the line of Cancer in the northern hemisphere, and then back to the centre equator line or autumn equinox, and then onwards to the line of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere, then back again to its original point, the spring equinox. This draws the letter S. So the letter I represents the equator. The letter S represents the Sun's movement over the course of the year. And the letter H represents the two tropics, Cancer and Capricorn. These three letters, ISH, spell Ish. Ish is the knowledge of the movement of the Sun over 1 year. It is a language and could be known as Yiddish, Spanish, Turkish, English. We may even add it to a name, Ishmael. The Sun, when it reaches the equinox point from which it started, i.e. March or Aries, just keeps going. However, the Asian countries knew it just starts again, and they adopted the whole symbol to become the infinity symbol. They also gave it a new name, the yin-yang symbol, and when they used this symbol to monitor the Sun's movement, they gave it the term Feng Shui, where the letter U was added to the letters ISH. To finish off this subject, an ancient group of people known as the Magi gave us a communicator. He was known as Mercury. Mercury, being the closest planet to the Sun, and therefore rotating the fastest, he was to be known as the worker for the heavens. He was given a set of wings and a chariot. This was to go with the caduceus he held. He was then given the name Hermes. The workers in the Masonic Lodge are known as the deacons. Upon the original wands, they carried the statue of Hermes, the winged communicator. Mercury and his chariot are placed upon the wall of the Grand Lodge of England, along with other important symbols. The star constellations are a window to the cosmos. The original teachers, the Magi, would highlight their skills in using the Zodiac. In this mosaic window in St. Andrew's Cathedral in Sydney. Here the three wise Magi are determining the location of the new Messiah. Two of the Magi are observing the heavens, whilst the third Magi is using his astroglobe, with the signs of the Zodiac and the hieroglyphs for the planets. This was to help locate the position of the birth of Jesus. In the centre of the astroglobe is the magnetic lodestone. It is suspended on a string. The lodestone, being magnetic, always points to true north. If you have got something out of this video, please subscribe to my website and press the like button. I have only scratched the surface of the topic of astrology. There is more to come in another video entitled The Fertility Symbol and How It Can Be Used to Predict Someone's Birth. The end.